Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to our challenge. I know I haven't seen you guys in a while. Things have been pretty crazy. Um, excuse me, including recovering from being sick for over a week, and snowstorm stuff, and just busyness and life and teaching and being a mom and Altenew stuff and all of the above. So yeah, it's been a little wild. So unfortunately, we did have to cancel the last two live streams. For me, obviously, there were other live streams going on in that time, but I'm happy to be back. I wish I was feeling 100% today, but unfortunately, I am not. So we'll see how it goes today. Hopefully, I won't have to sign off early. I am actually so thankful that today is the first day that my throat is not like screaming as I talk. So at first I was worried I'd have to cancel another one. I really didn't want to, but I woke up this morning and I was feeling at least a lot better throat wise. So I know there's just so much stuff going on. It is the season for that. And I'm sick of us all being sick, if that makes sense. So let me see who is in the chat today. We are doing creative challenges and it's always a fun time. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Rzasa and I am one of the co-founders of Altenew. And every Tuesday, with exceptions obviously, but pretty much scheduled for every Tuesday, there's going to be a new challenge at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And it's just a really great chance for you to get out of your crafty comfort zone, maybe try something new or an old technique you haven't tried before, or make something in a style that you've never attempted, and even just have an excuse to get into your creative space and do a little bit of playing. So hello to Amy and Kim. And let's see, Nancy is here. Pammy Bear is here. Rebecca. I wonder how many of you guys are experiencing the blizzard conditions that we've been having here in Massachusetts. It's been cold. So like not only has it been snowy, but it's not even like good weather to like play in the snow. You know, I'm a fan of hopping in the snow in a snowsuit and making a snow angel. My girl Bridget knows all about that. So Bridget Casey and I have talked about that before. Nothing beats it. But it's just been so cold regardless of the snow. So I'm like not even enjoying it and I'm not feeling great. So I was kind of hoping that this would be it. And then I saw there's another blizzard in the forecast for next week. So we shall see. Nancy's working on some cross stitch. Oh, that's lovely. I'm assuming traditional fabric cross stitch because a lot of paper crafters do enjoy using cross stitch techniques on paper too. So just if you want to clarify that and let us know which one, but I'm assuming traditional fabric like Fiber Arts cross stitch. Sue, I'm happy to see you too. And all of you guys here. Adriana and anyone I missed, Siamara is here, and Momo Fugate. Momo Fugate says it's cold. Oh, I wonder where you are, that it is cold there. Yeah, lots of snow and ice in Connecticut. Oh, sunny and 70 in Texas. I'll just daydream about that. No blizzards in Florida. Yeah, she says, thank God, we've had freezing temps. My family lives in Florida. And both my brother and my parents, they live in different areas of Florida, but both in Florida have been complaining about a lot of the like freezing temperatures. And I'm really glad that my parents actually just got their heat fixed because they were worried when it kind of went down because they don't use the heat a lot, right? Like it doesn't get turned on every year. And it was just like, oh no, we better get the heat fixed in case it gets cold. And it certainly got cold. So I'm glad that they got that fixed. All right, we've been on a tangent as always, but let's get to business, especially because I feel like we're making up for the last 2 weeks where we haven't had a challenge. If I'm ever like glancing off screen, I'm just looking at my computer because I've got all my information I need over there. So I'm not trying to be rude and lose eye contact with you guys. But last week or 3 weeks ago, we had divide and design, and the challenge was to create something that had linear divisions in it, a way to break up your canvas, whether it's a card or a piece of actual canvas, or it could be a tag or scrapbook layout, you guys know the drill, could really be anything, but using divisions to kind of separate that out. So this is what I created. I had started it on the live stream. It ended up being a lot different than I imagined it, but I think I like it more than I imagined it. So I did use some die cut frames in some rose gold metallic cardstock. I did ink blending with some beautiful stencils to create all of the foliage and flowers. I die cut them all out and I arranged them in these two like little frames. It is killing me right now, by the way, that this is not parallel in between. I might have to rip that up and fix that. I didn't really notice before. Now that I'm holding it up, I'm seeing that they're not quite aligned. We'll see if we can fix that. So yeah, this is what I created, and excuse me. And if you want to check that out, please look at the replay because it's a lot of fun. It was chaotic as usual. And then I'm going to announce the winner. So anybody who wants to participate, all you need to do is play along and satisfy the challenge prompt, even if it's just a work in progress and not a completed project yet, because as we all know, those of you who have been here before, I typically don't finish within our allotted time. And if I'm allowed to have an unfinished project, then you certainly are as well. So if you use our hashtag Altenew Challenge Live, we'll be able to find it and you'll be considered for a prize. And the prize is a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. The other way to win is if you share while we're live. So those of you who already have shared us, thank you very much for doing so. Pop back and leave a comment letting us know that you shared. And at the end of the live stream, we will also pick a winner for a $15 gift certificate. So that is 2 ways to win every single time you watch. And any Altenew newbies, all of our live streams have the sharing to win prize. So if you check out any of the other live streams during the week, share those too. It's such an easy way to be able to get something on your crafty wish list, or maybe something that you've been saving up for, just to knock $15 off the price of that. So it's always good. All right, looking off screen again so I can share my screen. And I'm going to share the winner of our challenge who did divide and design in a lovely way. I love checking all of them out. And you guys, some of you took advantage of those extra few weeks. So I'm glad that you did. We all had more time to create because of that. Okay, share my screen. And drum roll, please. Brrr. And here is the winner. So this is by Xiomara Rivera. And I just really loved how she used those linear divisions and kind of had the pattern going around the outer edge. And it was just broken up. It looks like she had just stamped the flowers like just as one big design around the sentiment and then split it up. So there's like multiple ways you can do it. You could divide first, which is what I did. I created my divisions and then made the elements fit within those divided segments. Or you could do what Xiomara did, is create the divisions afterwards. So I thought that was really cool. It put a nice feature on the sentiment. So congratulations to Xiomara. Make sure you give her a congrats in the comments. And Xiomara, definitely contact us to let us know that you were the winner of the challenge, and we will hook you up with that $15 gift certificate. So that was so much fun. It was a good one, and I hope we have a good one today. And I have to apologize. As I was looking at the challenge for today, I realized how similar it was to the last challenge in a way. I plan these challenges out months in advance. So it's a situation where I just kind of brainstorm some ideas, I write up the challenges, and then I forget about them until it's time to actually do it. And then here we are, and today's challenge is somewhat similar. It is different, but maybe it's just like a fun way to showcase a twist on the theme. So our challenge this week is Borderline Genius. And the way that we're going to be interpreting this theme is to use borders. Okay. Now, the reason why I said it was similar to the last challenge is because before we were doing linear divisions, and borders are typically linear divisions. Oops. But you don't have to. You can have a curved border. You can have a border on one side of like a die cut piece and leave the other side straight. Or, you can really figure this out on your own. You can do a stamped border. You can do a border created by embellishments. So if you wanted to line up your like different sequins in a little row, that could be a border. So with that in mind, let me pop you down and we're going to get to creating. And let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let me put this aside, my card from last time. Excuse me. Now I pulled out an oldie, but I was trying to think of what borders I had, and I wanted to use a die to create a border. And I also wanted to create a border with something that wasn't a border die. So this goes way back. I can't even tell you what year these were released, but I'd have to guess around like 2016. Now, Altenew launched in 2014. So maybe it was 2016-ish, 2017. I don't know, somewhere around there. And we have the party banner and the pocket banner. This one is the pocket banner, and this one here is the party banner. But if you look close up, please focus. There we go. We have a cut line, and then we have all these little like debossing dots. You see like right there, I could feel them. Okay, all these little dots. So I thought that would be cool to use that as a border, or I could even use like this area. I don't know. There's a lot of things we could do. And I wanted to use different colored cardstock. And then since it's like a party-esque theme, I also grabbed the Sweet Life layering die set because this makes the cutest little cupcake. I thought that might be nice. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I never have a firm plan. I always just kind of wing it. But I think we should get started by pulling out some different colors of cardstock. And my idea is that, let's grab a panel here, that I would cut down a panel to say like a square shape. And I could do that right now as I'm thinking about it. And then I'm going to cut this, by the way, before I lose track of what I'm saying, 4 1/4, because it is 4 1/4 wide. So here's my square. Okay, so I'm going to make an A2 card. And what if the borders just extended below in varying rainbowy shades? So I'm thinking that might be where I go with this. And let's go for that. Now, I'm realizing right now I'm not seeing the comments update. I'm hoping I'm still streaming. Yeah, it looks like it's still counting down. Okay. Hopefully I'm not missing the comments, but usually the products are getting linked down below, and I did check ahead of time, and these are still both available in the Altenew store, the pocket and party banners. So I'm hoping you're seeing a link that we're getting down in the bottom, and if no comments are coming through and it's an issue on my end, I will. Oh, thank you, Sue. I see and hear you. Great. So maybe I don't have anyone behind the badge today. Oh no, usually it's Mitzi. I don't think anyone's here. Okay, so that explains why I'm not getting a link. Okay, so you guys are seeing that. All right, now that I know I'm not just rambling to an audience of nobody, let's continue on and pick out some great colors of cardstock. So I'm just kind of pulling some colors behind me. I started organizing my paper. I'm on this continual quest of craftium organization, and I got these pouches to put my papers in so that I don't have to keep opening and closing the packaging that they came in, and then any scraps of this color could just get shoved in the pocket. And maybe you saw that behind me. Let me switcheroo here. So right over here, I put all my cardstock so that it's easy to grab. So I'm really excited to see if my new system works here as I'm pulling out some colors. And yeah, Nancy's like, you're winging it on your own. I'm always winging it, but I usually have backup. So today I am winging it without any backup. And yes, Armbrust 7 says, are these the ones that match with the alphabet? It is. Okay, so if you just look up party and pocket banner dies, they will show up, and then you'll see that we have the these alphabet that's sized to fit within these, the large letters. I actually used those in a live maybe a month or two ago, and I made some cards for my friends. So I can't show them to you because I already gave them away, but they featured those large alphabets. Okay, so let's take out some ultramarine. I think that is gorgeous. And maybe like a seafoamy color. Volcano Lake. Okay. And I'm just winging it back here, guys, with some beautiful, beautiful paper colors. Is Minty Mint too close? No, I think that's okay. I think we need something a little more striking to go maybe behind the blue. So let's take a look. What might look lovely there? Maybe deep iris? No, I feel like it's not really the vibe I want. It's too warm. Maybe something a little cooler. Cosmic Berry, you guys could tell not all of them made it into the pouches yet. You know what? I'm not liking that either. Okay, so let's stick with these. Oh my gosh, gold. Amy, you're so smart. I'm glad you guys can help me make decisions for me. So we'll put gold in the back. All right, so as I'm pulling out my gold, ooh, brushed gold. It's pretty cool. What do we think? You guys like that? A little unexpected. Or like black. Am I so boring for wanting to do black? All right, I haven't decided, but let's start planning this out. So let me cut some A2 panels of these. And these are all just going to get layered behind. This is going to be a tall card, you guys, because I'm going to pop. I think I'm going to pop them all up, or maybe I'll just pop up the last one. It's like all a stream of consciousness, you guys. And I've been out of it. You get, you know, like you don't think straight when you're sick. And I feel like I don't think completely straight anyway. Yeah, so for me to have that against me is like double against me. And here I am just rambling on. But trim that down to 5.5. And then 4 1/4 here. And hopefully you guys will start seeing the vision come together. So ignore this little top bit here, but I'm going to do the border down here with this, and we'll see how that looks. Or should I do it like that? Guys, this second guessing is crazy. I think we're going to have to do it like that. That's the way we have to do it, right? So it's like, why am I even cutting these? I should have die cut them, but whatever. Yeah, it does match my nails. Interesting colors, yeah. It's not a color palette I normally go for. I definitely work a lot with pinks and grays. So this is what we have. I think that's looking really cute. And then plus or minus the gold. Let's cut it and see how it looks. I feel like a silver might look better. Or black. Oh, Kim's saying black. Yeah, black or silver, says Susan. Yeah, I think the gold is just a little too warm for what we're going for. That means it is time for black, and I do have some black cardstock already trimmed up, so that makes everything easier anyway. Okay, so the black may not get the border. I'm not quite sure, but let's start cutting the border on the rest of these. And I think that's going to look really cool. So if you guys are just joining, the theme is Borderline Genius. And all you have to do to play along is create a project that features borders. That's it. All you have to do, featuring borders. Oh, Amy's saying try Nimbus. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, so there's two ideas on how I could do this. Number one is the border just goes along the bottom, and all I have to do is die cut it like this. Okay, it won't cut the rest of this because it's not underneath the die. I would run it through partially so that I'm not getting the pressure on the rest of this and indenting my cardstock. Option two, we just do this and cut the sides as well. So the border is going to go around the edge like that, and we'll get the advantage of that little scallop. I think that's kind of more fun, isn't it? Yeah, Amy's saying it's a snowy winter palette. It is. Oh, Sue, you hear my son. Yep, he is going out with my husband somewhere. Okay. So if it cuts like this, I don't want that to get cut. You know what? I think I have to go back to plan A for this. I think maybe just this one I'll have the full border around. I don't know. Okay, so I'll show you what I meant before. Let's slip this in. Make sure that it is where I want it. I'm not worried about the height of it yet because I could just trim that down later. Right now, I just want to get that border cut as straight as I can. So this is just going to add those little dots at the bottom. It's going to cut the bottom edge and add the dots. Let's see how that looks. Sue, yes, I am lucky to have my husband home at this time. Absolutely. He works from home. So I really appreciate that he's able to do that. And he could even, while he's working, take a quick trip out as needed with my son. So, or our son. I say my son. Okay, and then we're just going to run this through the die cut machine. And if you are just joining us, please make sure that you share while we're live, because then you'll be entered to win a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. And that could be used for anything that may be on your crafty wish list. Okay. So for this part, it's a pretty delicate little border. I'm not sure if that came out as detailed as I was hoping it, but we continue on. Now, I know I did do the thing I said I wasn't going to do. I said I was going to partially run it through, but I did forget, and that's fine because we're just going to be covering up with the next layer, just like this. Okay. So here's our border. I love that delicate detail. Hey, where are you? There you are. I think that looks so cute. So let's continue on with the next one. And yeah, I'm just going to run it straight through because this is going to get covered too. It really doesn't make a difference until I get to the top. Okay, so let's put this in. Thank you, Joanne, for sharing, and Rebecca and Miss Tamp. Okay, so I'm going to shift this over, keep it as straight as I can. And yeah, the whole point of me using this die was just because I wanted to use a die in an unexpected way to show you that a border can be created with anything. So if you are running out of ideas for borders, take a small stamp and stamp that repeatedly. That is a great way to create a quick little border. Okay, I'm just going to send this through. We'll repeat the process. Okay, now I do wish I could use my die cut machine from Altenew because it does fit on the table. So that does make it a lot easier to show you guys. But because of the fact that it doesn't fit, it's a huge die cut machine. That's why I'm kind of off screen. So I am sorry for that, but we'll just keep pressing on. And as I do this, I would love for you guys to go into the comments and let me know what you are watching. If you are streaming anything, if you watched the Olympics. Oh my gosh, I had such a great time watching the Olympics. My parents came and visited, and that was also spectacular, by the way, because both my husband and I were feeling sick. So to get some help with my son was like pretty awesome. But we did get to watch the Olympics, and I just had such a good time. I don't always get that into it, but I think some of the new athletes that are out on the scene have just been really fantastic and refreshing to watch what they could do. So I love that. So yeah, if there's anything else that you've been watching, please also let me know. Nina's saying she loves ice skating. Yeah, it was so great to watch the skaters. It really was. I'm wondering if I could like do two at once here, but I don't know if that's necessarily possible. As I'm cutting here, let me continue on. Yeah, Amy says she watched the Olympics, but it's over. I know some people are catching up online of anything that they missed from the Olympics, but yeah, we just used the we've got the Peacock app, so we are watching that. But I also watched some highlights on YouTube. And you guys, this is just repetitive die cutting here. I'm just sending the next one in. Excuse me. And then we're almost done, and we can then look towards our cute little Sweet Life layering die set. Now this does come with a stamp set. Here is the coordinating stamp set. So that is part of the Mini Delight subscription. And the Mini Delight is a really fun subscription because you get a lot with just a simple set. So I know it's a smaller sized set, so the price point is a little bit less. And it really just allows you to get crafty on a budget. And I really enjoy the creativity in all of these Mini Delights. Like we pack a lot into a small stamp set and a very small die set. Oh, this is looking so cool. Okay, look at that. Here are my borders. Please focus. There we go. This is why we call it Borderline Genius. And now we get to our top and deciding whether or not I want to cut the rounded bottom. So let's see how that would look. Just like that. Let's go for it. Let's do it. You guys, I think this would look great. Okay, so now this is the top piece. So I want to be a little bit more cautious with how I'm taping it because sometimes the tape will imprint a little bit into the cardstock. So let's just very slightly adhere it there. Oops. So even if it does show up, it's not going to be super noticeable. Okay, let me check the back just to ensure that I am lined up. Scoot it over a little bit. And I could even put like another little piece of tape at the bottom here. Just extra hold. That will get cut, by the way, that piece of tape, and that is fine if that gets cut. Yeah, I just don't want this to shimmy around as I'm cutting it. Susan says she watched as much Olympics as she could, and she loved it. The other thing I think of is how these people train in the cold all the time. Like, I'm not a fan of cold weather. So I feel like I give them so much credit just for being outside in the cold and training in the cold temperatures. Okay, sending this last piece through, and then for the rest of my die cutting, I can do it up here because I will be able to use my trusty handy dandy Mini Blossom die cut machine. Okay, so that's fantastic. Just like that. I love that border. Okay, it was a good move. Focus. There we go. Is this one of those details that not many people will see or appreciate? Yeah, but I'm still happy with it. Okay, so as I cut my panels earlier, I think they weren't completely the right size. It looks like this black one is a little bit short. So let me see if I could just cut a new A2 panel from some black cardstock. And can we get this to fit? Yes. So right about there at 4 1/4. Yeah, Amy, this will be a thick card with all the layers. I'm contemplating whether or not I want to adhere some without foam tape just to minimize. It's gonna be like stacked. So I think we need to do some without foam tape and maybe just all of them with flat tape, and then the top one can be popped up. All right, so now I'm going to use my alignment mat right here. So this is the A2, just like that. And I want to figure out how I need to be spacing these. I know this is going to be at the top, just like this. And then the other layers at the bottom. So let's check it out. So this is a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch. And then we can put this on top. Just like this. Or I can make them a little more even, or I can add another color to this situation. But I think I'm just going to separate them a little bit more. So here is when I do a little bit more spacing, just like that. So I think this is pretty cool. I'm going to just kind of arrange these as I go. I'm going to put down just the regular glue tape. Looking at my time, I haven't even started on my cupcake yet. I'm not going to push this down fully until I know I like how the layers are ordered up. And I'm really excited to see how you guys interpret this borderline genius theme. I do feel like border products had their time where they were quite popular. And, you know, a lot of companies were coming out with border dies, and there were a lot of stamp sets that would be like borders, boom, borders, boom, borders, boom, borders, all the way down. And I felt like that was a thing. And then I haven't seen borders in a while. So I'm not really sure why they aren't as popular anymore. But I think it's a cool way to bring them back with something like this. Okay, so now, oh, that was it. Okay, so let's push these down, and then I'm going to trim this to be the size that I need it to be. So the A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Going through all those layers, just a little chopperoo. And then this is going to get placed on top with some foam tape. Oh, I could even do that. Oh, I'm second guessing myself, you guys, so many times. Do I want to cut a border here? I don't know. All right, so let's think about our Sweet Life layering die set. I do want to use some of these colors reflected in the cupcake. So it's a good thing that I have those scraps. I didn't put them away yet. I don't need the text. It just says hugs. It's super cute. But here is the bottom of the cupcake. Here is part of the frosting. And here is the cupcake itself. So let's just take some different pieces of, hopefully some scrap cardstock. All right, I'm going to do blue for the paper, the little cupcake paper. And let me pull out my mini blossom. So this is our cute and tiny die cut machine. And then I also have our plates and my metal shim. Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. My husband and son just came back with a drink for me. That's perfect on my throat. That's what I needed. Ms. Tamp said, yeah, it's the stamp prices for me and trying to keep under that 1 ounce limit. Yeah, when you're mailing the cards, for sure. You definitely want to keep that in mind as you're creating, if that is something that you're doing. Now, if you're hand delivering a card, oh, then it doesn't matter. I have made 3D like box envelopes. If you look up online, you could find tutorials on how to do that. And I feel like those are great for like the super thick, delicate, chunky, whatever specialty cards that you wouldn't normally be able to send through the mail. So this goes through just like that. I feel like this is screaming birthday card. I did not pull out any birthday greetings or sentiments, but as I look at the time, I don't think I'll have a chance to get to a sentiment today anyway. But it's just anytime you've got a cupcake, it feels like birthday. That is so cute. You know what would be really great is if you used the silver foil cardstock and you made it look like one of those foil cupcake wrappers. That would be quite adorable. All right, so there is the bottom. We've got all of our pieces. It's coming together. If you're just coming here, the theme is borderline genius. So the goal is to create something that has a border somewhere. It doesn't need to feature 1, 2, 3, 4 borders like I have here. You could definitely just do one border. It could be a die cut border, stamped border, stenciled border, an embellishment border, any border that you can think of. That's all you need to do. Make sure that you share with the hashtag Altenew Challenge Live, and that's how I'll be able to find your project. Sand dunes feels like a vanilla cupcake. So let's do that for the cupcake base. And trying to pull these out of here. There we go. These papers, this is the 3x6 sheets. So this set is sized to fit on the mini Blossom plate, which is always great to have some of these on hand. I use both. Obviously, I cut my panels here from the full-size cardstock, but you can use the full size and trim them down to the size, or just to save the time, I love just having the packs of pre-cut cardstock in the size that I need for my mini Blossom. Bringing back the old trusty tape, the same pieces of tape I've been using this whole time. I don't need the shim for this because it's an open die. So that's something that I do to determine whether or not I feel like I need a shim. It works probably 95% of the time, is that if the die is closed, meaning you can't see through it, there are detailed lines, there are cut lines, or there are debossing lines. Like this, I would call these closed dies. Focus. There we go. So these are closed dies. I use a shim for closed dies. And then open dies, like this one, I don't need the shim because you don't need that extra pressure. So that's just a little tip for you if you're trying to figure out whether or not you need to use a shim. This would be cute just to make like a muffin, right? Let's like stretch our products here. You could make little chocolate chips, have a chocolate chip muffin, blueberry muffin. You could also take a pen or something and make an X. The hot cross bun. What does a hot cross bun look like? Is it piped? Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. As a music teacher, where, you know, a lot of beginners, we play hot cross buns as our first song. I'm teaching third graders recorder right now. That's their current unit. And I can't visualize a hot cross bun, but I think it's something like this with like a white piped X on it, like on a frosting. Please confirm in the comments if that is in fact a hot cross bun. I think it is. I think so. But we're making a cupcake. So let's keep it going and add the other parts. So if I look at the sample here, the darker part is the details and the lighter part is the less detailed. So less detailed is here. So that's the one I'm going to do in my lighter color. And I'm going to create that out of the lighter green. Just using all the same colors. Why not? Right? It's going to be so cohesive. Trimming a little bit there. Putting in that same exact piece of tape. And I can also put the darker one through because I'll just put it on the lower half. Kim says it's more like a cinnamon roll. Oh, with white striped icing. So yeah, I think I was right with that striped, the X piped icing is the hot cross bun. Well, anyway, you can make this a muffin, a hot cross bun, whatever, cinnamon roll. Speaking of cinnamon rolls, you guys, I made the best like cheater cinnabon cinnamon rolls last week. And I kind of used a recipe that I saw on an Instagram reel. I have no idea whose it was, and I'm so sorry. I can't tell you, but I could explain how they made it. They said they were an ex-employee of Cinnabon. And I have like so many memories as a kid of going to the mall and like just like drooling and salivating over those and almost never getting them. Only if like it was a special treat, I would get it. So I just felt like there'd be a lot of nostalgia packed in if I was able to make my own Cinnabons. She said the secret ingredient is butter. Not surprised. But what I did was instead of creating the dough from scratch, because I knew that would be more effort, I don't want to have to worry about like the yeast and all that, is I used the Pillsbury pizza crust that you get like rolled up in the can in the refrigerated section. And I wasn't sure if that would work because the original recipe didn't say to do that, but I was just like, it's dough, right? And I looked up other recipes that use that as like a shortcut for dough. So I used that first, and then the cinnamon mixture, which was like cinnamon, was it brown sugar or regular sugar? Oh, I don't remember. But you do the cinnamon, the sugar mixture, and butter, more butter. And then, yeah, it was brown sugar. So cinnamon and brown sugar and butter. And you spread that on and you roll them up. And when you bake it, you pour in the dish, like put it in a baking dish with all the buns, and you let them rise too. So because it's the pizza dough will rise, so that rose. And then you pour heavy cream into the dish, like just a little bit. It's like this much at the bottom. I didn't know that was a thing for cinnamon buns, but that helps keep them soft. And in addition to keeping them soft, I think it helps caramelize like all the cinnamon, sugar, butter that oozes out the bottom. And then when you make the frosting, this was the part that really got me, is it's cream cheese, softened cream cheese, more butter. And then it was, let's see, vanilla extract. And then they said, add a little bit of maple syrup. And they said, that's what makes it like the signature Cinnabon frosting. So I'm not really a big fan of maple syrup. I eat naked pancakes and naked waffles. I don't put butter or syrup on them. I just like them as is. But I was like, you know what? If they say this is the thing that makes it like Cinnabon, that's the thing I'm going to do. And they came out and I smothered it in that thick icing. And I tell you, that is what I remember Cinnabon tasting like. Was it like, if it's side-by-side comparison taste test, would I be able to tell the difference? I'm sure I would. But just not having had Cinnabon in so long, that was exactly how I remember it to be. And it was just such, oops, it's my extra little piece. It was such a great thing to make. And it was so easy. And I can't wait to make it again. Again, that was quite the tangent. Sorry about that, folks. Can't get me started on cinnamon. It is a weakness. I love all things cinnamon. Cinnamon sugar. I put cinnamon in my oatmeal. I put cinnamon in applesauce, yogurt, everything. Nina's saying she's going to make cinnamon buns next. She just made some banana nut bread. Ooh, that sounds good. I don't like bananas, but I do like things with banana in them, and I do like banana bread. Love how this is looking. I'm just using the glue tape, the tape runner, but of course you could use liquid glue for this. But here's what we're getting, you guys. Isn't that delightful? What a nice little cupcake. So I do need to consider a few things here. And I'm looking at time, and I know we're going to have to sign off soon. So maybe you guys can help me brainstorm how this is going to go. But here's what's in my head. I definitely need some kind of birthday appropriate sentiment. I'm boring, so I'm probably just going to stamp it in black, like right here. That's just how I am, or right here. Who knows? But the question is, should I add some other type of border? So I like the idea of adding maybe like enamel dots or pearls or something, maybe even at the top border. I could also send this through the die cut machine once more to get that curved edge and the border up top. So then we'll get kind of like this action right here. This would be cut and you'd be able to see a little bit of that seafoam color popping through. Do we want to do that? Do we want to do something completely different? I know that this isn't your card, it's mine. I should be able to make these decisions, but sometimes I don't know. So I would love to hear your input. If you could just pop that into the chat to inspire my decision when I go ahead and complete this. Oh my gosh, sprinkles, Kim. You're so smart. And they don't even have to be like traditional sprinkles. I could definitely just use like some sequins as sprinkles. We have beautiful sequins. Let me show you. Like these, the stellar sequins, and we've got some itty bitty ones, super tiny, that might look great as little sprinkles. Oh, a confetti border. Oh, Nina, that is so cool. You guys are so much more interesting than I am. I am clean and simple through and through, and I love that you guys always help me get out of my creative ruts by suggesting things that I wouldn't typically do as a card maker. Not because I don't like how they look, but just because it's not where my mind goes. So my mind was not headed towards sprinkles, but I love that idea. Okay, so here is just some foam tape that I'm going to use. Something that I did with all my foam tapes is I did just label them on the inside with just like a label maker. So this is 1/2 width, 1/8 inch thick. And I did that for all of them just so that as I'm going through in my drawers, it's easy to figure out which one is which. And I don't have to like dig around and find them. Oh, sorry, I don't want this thick one. This is 1/8 inch thick. Okay, I want the thinner one. This is what I'm telling you. Okay, so then here is 1/2 inch, 1/16. If I start making 1/8 inch thick, this is never going to get an envelope. Yeah, under a pile of papers says a confetti border. It screams birthday. A banner border. So much that we can do. I'm not going to adhere this white down until I completely figure out how this is going to go. Yeah, Robin says great labeling tip. As I'm getting more organized in my life, I am trying so hard to think of the easiest ways for me to use my supplies. So when I think about what I need at my fingertips, right? I need paper, I need adhesives, I need scissors, I need blending brushes. So anything like that, I want to make sure I can utilize them as I'm crafting without having to like go somewhere that's inconvenient. So, oh, this is so cute. I love it. All right, we are definitely color coordinated here. This is very sweet. But yeah, so as I'm saying, I'm going through how I want to use my supplies, and things like this where it's like I threw out the packaging. I can look at it and be like, oh, of course this is 1/16 of an inch thick. It's not the fat one that's 1/8 inch. Oh, okay. Now I could tell, yeah, this is about 1/2 inch. But why am I going to go through that process of just like figuring it out when I can label it and then just be done with it, right? So I have these labeled. They're all in a stack like this with the labels on the inside. So it's easy for me to tell what is what. And like those are the organization tips that I think work the best for me, because I know that there's a practical application for it. Oh, if you're wondering what I did here, I'm realizing I'm doing it and not explaining it. I just put the release paper back on because I peeled it off and I'm not ready to put this down onto the cardstock yet. So I just put the release paper back on to cover up that stickiness before I finish this card. All right, this needs to get jazzed up. I really don't know how I will jazz it up, but something will be happening to it. And then I will be sharing the completed project next week. Remember, if you share while we're live, you are entered to win a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. So definitely go in and share in the next like 30 seconds and then pop that into the comments to let us know that you shared. And then if you want to play along, we are doing Borderline Genius this week. You will feel like a genius as you add borders to your project. I went with these very delicate and adorable die cut borders that I used from a banner die, using it in a less conventional way, just taking that bottom edge and cutting through. So you can look at your products in a new way to try to see where you can find borders to add. And I can't wait to see them. So that hashtag Altenew Challenge Live is the way that I can find them. And then next week, we're going to be highlighting a winner, and that person is going to win a $15 gift certificate to the Altenew store. Let me flip you up to the front. I think it's safe to say that I actually feel a little bit better now than when I started. And I think it's you guys, and it's doing something that I love, and it's experimenting with paper, and even with the flaws along the way. Like I accidentally imprinted my cardstock with the die after I said I wasn't going to do that. And then I did it anyway. It's real. You guys, I know those of you who craft, which I think is all of you or almost all of you, you totally can relate to that. And it's just so much fun that I get to do that here with you guys. So yeah, thankfully my throat isn't any worse. It's not any better, but it's not any worse. And I am looking forward to seeing everything that you guys contribute using that hashtag. And make sure that wherever you share it, it is shared publicly so that I'd be able to find it. If you have a private account and you share, unfortunately, I won't be able to see it. And I will be going back into the comments and seeing if there's any questions, since I didn't have any backup today under the Altenew badge. I don't know if you guys had any questions that weren't getting addressed, and that as the comments go through, I know I don't see them all. But yeah, the other thing, one more thing that I was talking about, like with using my supplies, like you could see up there, I've got a lot of embellishments. I, in the past, had them in a white bin, and I almost never used them because it was annoying to have to pull the bin out and open it up. And I know that sounds silly because it took like 5 seconds to do it, but it just wasn't at my fingertips. So I'm hoping now with the embellishments behind me, I don't forget that they exist and I could add them to my project. So yeah, the paper now is easy to grab. All my inks are easy to grab. The things that I knew I wanted to have at my fingertips. So that's just some tips for you. I don't know if I will ever finish organizing this space, but I am getting closer to my goal. All right, it is time to go rest. Thanks, Kim. Thank you, everybody. Amy. Yeah, magical blend. Darlene, that's so sweet. So it's a magical blend of friendships with crafts. It is. And especially those of you who I do see all the time, that you guys return, and you're not just at my lives, you're at the other Altenew lives and other companies' lives. It's just great seeing all of the support of Altenew, but also the paper crafting community at large. Okay, before I get all emotional, I'm going to sign off, but I will see you guys soon. I just need to set up my little outro graphic here. And hopefully we don't have any more cancellations, but of course, if there is, we'll make sure to put a notification about that up. We did post it in the Altenew Facebook fan group. So if you're not a part of that, I recommend you join it. It's free to join, and it's a great community of crafters who lift one another up and enjoy sharing things, asking questions, all of the above. All right. Now that I've gone overtime, even after I said, excuse me, that I might do a shorter one, let's do the outro. I will talk to you guys all soon, and I will see you next week. I hope you have a wonderful and crafty day. Bye.